I'm Insomniac.
And I'm Pops.
And this is Shooting the Shit.
AKA Chatting with Pops.
I think this is episode 68 of Shooting the Shit, but you're gonna have to check the title because
Every week he says this. I think.
I can't keep track of what episode it is. I have no clue.
What the?
Yeah, they got too much going on. Let's see. The topic today is sports. Must a guy follow, or is it a bunch of wasted time? And that's by this guy here. I'm never gonna be able to pronounce that name right, so we'll just put that on the screen there.
Wow. Yeah.
This
is going to be a real quick topic for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to have roughly the same view on this, and it's not going to be the view that most guys have on sports.
For sure, for me.
All right, let's have a good time.
Well, here goes, guys. Let me explain the backstory. You've heard this a million times, so you know that me and Rob are musicians, and I've been playing drums since I'm 10, 11 years old, and music, and I play other instruments too, but I'm a drummer. And once that bit me, I'd say, to be fair, about the 12, 13-year-old mark, it was over. I wanted nothing to do with sports seriously in any way, you know. Not that I didn't still play football with my friends or basketball or baseball, but organized was over for me. So right there, you know, it was over. And I have no interest. I don't feel it's important. I mean, I know men do it, and I know it's a bonding thing too, and that's fine. I'm not knocking it. But I have no interest in following or feeling like I have to be involved and watch sports. And we could take this even further. So the second part of that, I would feel, is a bunch of crap for me. You know, because you're never going to get me to be like, I got to hang out with the boys and turn on the... No. But there's another part of this, another dimension in my mind. And that is, there's lots of people, fathers, mothers even, that, you know, seem to put upon their children to play everything from basketball to football to soccer to, you know, and some don't. Some of their kids want to do that. But I believe sometimes that, and I know we all know there's fathers and stuff that, you know, they just put that pressure on the kid. That is something I feel is ridiculous and uncalled for. I never did that to my kids. Robert started off playing basketball. It was like, you know, he had to learn, and then he became really good. He was a great basketball player. But I never put that on him, like, Rob, play better, you know, or Rob, play. I just didn't. And you want to do it, you do it. He could even say that here in this topic we're talking about. So,
although I won't, because it's not part of the topic. But
no, but
we'll leave it in there.
Yeah, but it does go further. So the is it a bunch of crap part? I'm throwing that in too. I feel that's just crap when it goes down like that, and it's impressed upon children or anybody, even us as adults. Oh yeah, I got a bond with you, and I'm not interested. So you know, that's mostly what I have to say about that. You can pick up from there.
Sports, no. I don't really think you need to follow sports if you're a guy. I mean, we're two guys. We don't follow sports. And I used to. I mean, when I was younger, I used to, you know, follow sports a bit. Actually, also until music, I'd say. You know, once I got serious with music, I stopped really with the sports. That and life and, like, being busy and, you know, having a job or finding an interest in women, you know. I don't understand how any of these guys that just like it's sports all the time. It's like there's a lot more fun stuff out there to
women
throw your in. Well, women. I don't know about women.
Well, earlier on.
I want one of those.
Earlier on, it's women.
But
well, women, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I was never, other than, you know, back in the school days a little bit, because, you know, you and your friends, you start talking about sports. I guess you start, you know, looking into certain things or watching a game. This way you can actually talk about it. But then after a while, you're kind of like, for me anyway, it kind of becomes really like a chore. It's like you have to follow, you know, the whole thing in order to be able to have a conversation about your favorite team or about the game last night. And like, to me, you all know how I am by now if you watch this stuff regularly and you know me a little bit. I'm all about efficiency and, just moving on and getting to the next thing, getting things done. I don't have 2 hours plus to waste on watching a game, let alone doing that,
I hear you.
Multiple times a week. And then there's people that are sports fans, but they look forward to every different season. They're a baseball fan, a football fan, they're a basketball fan. They're just watching sports all year. I imagine how much of your life you're wasting doing that. And I know a lot of guys are probably going to watch this and go, what the fuck's wrong with him?
Teachers on.
But to me, it's for me, I would lose my fucking mind if I had to sit on a couch or in a chair or whatever for 2 hours straight, period. Even if it were just once a week, I can't keep up with that. I just can't, And then, of course, it's the emotional investment to me that makes it completely ridiculous and that I don't get, and that actually is where I get really separated from sports fans, quote unquote. For example, the phrase "my team" really pisses me. It pisses me off to no end.
Oh yeah.
Because unless you own stock in that team, or you are the owner of that team, or you're on that team, it's not your team. They don't know who you are. They don't care. You have nothing to do with it. You don't own it. It's not your team. It's a team that you like. It's how it is. But you always got all these people all the time on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. Oh, my team this and my team that. You don't have a team. You're not on the team. You don't own the team. You don't have a team. Say my favorite team. When we're we're musicians. When we're referring to bands, we don't say my band. When we're talking about our favorite band,
is true.
You say our favorite band, or you say the name of the band. You don't say my band. It ain't my band. I'm not in it. I don't own it. But sports fans, and then they get to the point where they're just insanely fanatical. I remember back when I was on a little few state kind of toury thing with one of the bands I was in at one point. I was driving the band van, and I had a 2-hour argument with somebody who was in the band about whether or not sports actually matter on an emotional level.
Are they relevant?
And no, not are they relevant. He's trying to argue that sports have the same emotional value to them as music, which we won't get into that because that could be a whole topic. And I was just I'm just trying to figure out, no matter what angles he was trying to hit me with, I just didn't get it. It was I don't understand how watching guys play a game is something that I don't get it.
I'm sitting over here and discuss.
And the thing is,
sorry.
And the thing you have to understand for me anyway is, and him too when he was younger. It's I played sports.
Oh, I played.
I understand how these sports work. So it's not I'm one of these, completely ridiculous, doesn't even know what a football is or how the game works or, It's I understand these games. I've played them. I get it. So it's not you just don't get, I get it.
No.
But to me, it's still all right, that's cool. It's competitive. It's fun. But, I just don't get it. There's so many things, you have the same people that are following sports like religion who talk about not having enough time in the day. It's well, why don't you take the 10 hours you blew watching football and get shit done? I don't get it. Sports is to me a giant waste of time.
You said something, that was important. It's not that in either one of our cases, and me even more maybe, because I played baseball pretty seriously, organized, and I believe I was pretty good. I had a bunch of trophies and plaques, and played basketball. It was all right. Football, I was mean in football, but never organized, and I loved it. But it just, why as a man I have to be sold out to be part of this, to be in with that crowd or whatever the case. And that's, for me, I feel and I mean this, when I was in school, there was a certain crowd. There was the jocks, and then, it's like this growing up, we all know. There was the jocks, there's maybe the nerds, maybe there's people like me. Guess who I was? I bet you they can guess. I was kind of more over here. I was kind of the outsider, and so it was us crazy outsiders, and we were crazy. And you had your jocks, and they were all popular, and then you had whoever else. And you know what? That's what I feel. And I'm not knocking people. There's people I love you dearly, and if they ever watch this or some do watch it, I love you guys. But
I was popular as hell in school, and I didn't watch sports.
All right, but
I wasn't a jock actually by high school either. I dropped out of sports by freshman year.
But for me, I feel some of this has gone on like that. Like, oh, you go on the same way. That's how you relate. Your friends, oh, you know, that whole thing, oh, you know, and that's fine. Again, I'm just saying teach his own.
But I'm missing the connection because being a sports fan has nothing to do with being a jock.
Well,
most sports fans would drop dead if they tried to play a sport.
Well, not the people I know.
A lot of guys you see watching sports are like just fat fucks, just sitting there guzzling beers, yelling at the TV.
I know a lot of people.
So the only people that watch sports are people that are physically fit and can play a sport.
Not at all. But I personally know people who were jocks, and you know they're still.
So because of the small group, you know, that's people that are sports fans.
No, I'm not just. No, I'm saying that. That's part of it too. A lot of times it follows through because that's what you did, that's what you liked, you carry that on. But I'm just saying, like this guy's saying as a topic, it's bullshit to me. I don't want to be part of it. Don't put it on me. And I'm not sitting here saying, oh, like you're saying, oh, they waste a lot of time. Well, hey, go ahead. I'm not going to do it. So the answer to this whole topic is, I don't need to be sold into it, and it absolutely is a bunch of shit for me.
The only thing I disagree with a little bit is the school jock connection, and here's the extra why. On top of the fact that so many people that watch sports were not jocks. When I was actually playing organized basketball in school and on the traveling team, whatever teams I could get on, I didn't watch basketball. I didn't even watch sports, and I was playing sports.
Well, the people I know, a lot of them were jocks, and they do watch sports, and they're still into it. They were.
But that you can't make that.
I'm not saying that's not across the board. You're right.
Okay.
Because you're absolutely right. There's some couch potato ass bastards that couldn't play a sport to save their life.
No.
So
yeah, it's my point. So I mean, the thing though is there is a stigma, and which I think is kind of what you were getting at with the question behind, kind of like almost, you know, like there's something manly about being a sports fan, and I say bullshit. You know, there's something manly about taking care of your woman, maybe going out and you know, chopping down a tree and then watching a James Bond flick or something. I don't know. I mean, like, watching sports to me doesn't make you manly. Playing,
I'd rather deal with my woman any day than sports, period.
I don't know. Some people do look at me crooked when they start talking about, you know, especially when you start getting to the playoffs and whatnot, and then people are like, oh, you know, what team you rooting for? And I'm like, who's in the playoffs? I don't know. Yeah, it's like I'm not watching it. People live for Super Bowl Sunday. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, okay, right. I mean,
Who gives a shit? Like, I just don't get it. And the thing is, here, you know, I think a lot of people that are going to watch this are going to look at this and be like, wow, you know, poor him. You know, he's missing out.
Poor these guys.
And what you need, I think you're not looking at, though, if you were to flip it around for a second, is how free we are from having to be, you know, emotionally and time-wise invested in sports all year.
I know people who are. It's like, wow, like
it's absolutely incredible. So all of the times where, like, you're doing something maybe with your family that you're enjoying, but you have to rush home because you don't want to miss the game, well, I don't have to do that. Because I never have to worry about missing the game because I don't care about seeing it in the first place. So, and like he said earlier, I got no problem with people who are sports fans or that like sports, except for the ones that say my team. That does piss me off. But I mean, shit, you enjoy sports, cool, man. You know, do your thing. I got no problem with that. I have no problem with sports.
That's what I'm saying.
Just don't hit me with that.
I'm not that
stereotype bullshit of almost like, you know, if you're a man, you gotta watch sports, you gotta follow sports,
it's like
you gotta have a team.
Tim the Tool-Man Taylor on the old show. You know, the man thing with the tools and like I'll use it here. Oh yeah, football, oh bad. Yeah, no, I don't need that. You know, I mean that's not for me. So yeah, you got your question answered in a long way, but there's our answer. And I'm sure half these guys out here go, what the fuck's with these two guys?
So, I mean, centralized,
Sorry.
You know, we kind of basically told you our view and related to us. But to give you the real quick overview in terms of, let's reread that question. Oh, like, must a guy, you know, follow? No, a guy doesn't have to follow sports. No. And that's that. And if you do, good for you. You know.
And if you're a genius and you're going to invent the next cure for something, double time you don't need to follow ever sports. Or anything. I'm just joking. I'm being dry humor, but really, I mean, give me a break. What? Just I'm thinking about what you said about the time. Imagine if some which I wouldn't think so, but you never know. Some really like guy who was like a professor who really had some answers. He's gonna maybe possibly change the world. Be watching sports. Forget that time, man. I'm just saying. It's like you could be like. Probably changing the world instead of spending 10 hours watching sports, but like you were saying. I mean, but again, well, we're harping on it. But I guess to each his own. Do what you want. Not for me. I don't think we actually could have ended this by saying blah 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 and gotten off. Been the shortest episode ever. But this is our thoughts and feelings. And I know a lot of guys are going to think we're nuts.
I think I'm confused now.
What?
I'm just
thinking. I'm having like a thought.
If you don't watch sports, you can cure a disease?
No, but imagine never mind.
Wait,
maybe
what?
some of you will get it.
All right. Well, so no, you don't have to watch sports or follow sports. We're two unique people in that respect. I think most guys, do
definitely
watch sports, and
they do.
Yeah. So this is Shooting the Shit, aka Chatting with Pops, on the Shooting the Shit channel.
Yes.
Subscribe.
Switch over.
And if you like this weekly stuff that we do, share it with friends. Because now it's definitely going to be harder to have a following of people happening because it's not on the other channel, which already has people watching it. So share this, because we now, kind of like in the beginning when we needed to get it out, now we also need to get it out.
Yeah, please share it around.
Channel. So do that. If you want to submit topics and you want to support the work in general, sign up at the link at the top of the video description. It's the Patreon page down there.
And go grab some of our older, crazier, wilder ones and definitely share those. And if you want some wild and crazy stuff again, hit us with the topics, man. Hit us with the topics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot. We'll see you.